Microsoft announced early this morning that they are acquiring Activision Blizzard and all of their subsidiary game studios for $68.7 billion. Prior to this, the largest video game studio acquisition was indeed from Microsoft about a year ago for $7.5 billion of ZeniMax Media Group, including Bethesda and ID Software. This studio acquisition will have some major effects on the gaming community and industry, not to mention the video game economy, as this boosted Activision Blizzard stock through the roof, despite their ongoing lawsuits due to their sexual harassment culture. I want to cover a couple of pros or benefits for the average gamer, especially if you are an Xbox or PC owner. I want to talk about what this means for the Slytherin snake Bobby Kotick, aka Senator Palpatine, and I want to bring Sony and Nintendo into this equation for a minute to talk about what this might mean for their companies. Let's get it. Alrighty, Stallions and Stallionettes, welcome to the Gamer Heaven. I am your host, AK40 Kevin, and this very well might be the biggest piece of gaming news we're going to have this year, and we are only in January. Now, to put a little bit of context about the monetary value of this, the entire market cap of Nintendo is $63 billion. That's what their company is worth, meaning that Microsoft's Xbox division has spent more on this one acquisition of a video game studio with several subsidiary studios underneath it than Nintendo's entire company is worth. And keep in mind, about a year ago, they also shelled out $7.5 billion to acquire ZeniMax Media Group, which is 14 studios, including Bethesda and ID Software. What does this mean? Well, quite simply, Xbox is not fucking around. So what does this mean for you, the average gamer, the video game consumer? Well, these games will be available in the Game Pass ecosystem, i.e. if you have a Windows 10 or 11 PC, an Xbox One or Xbox Series, maybe you're a mobile gamer, but you have xCloud via Game Pass Ultimate. Much like the acquisition of Bethesda, where we now have Fallout, Skyrim, all these games on screen here in the Game Pass ecosystem, all of these bad boys are now going to be integrated into Game Pass, meaning if you already have that subscription service, which is already a tremendous value, guess what? You now have Overwatch, Diablo, StarCraft, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Candy Crush. And you might be wondering, Candy Crush? What the fuck is that doing there? Mobile gaming is incredibly lucrative, and Candy Crush is the cream of the crop, and they are creaming on everybody's crops. This game right here has set multiple records for the highest grossing mobile game ever. How do they monetize this game? Well, it uses what's called a time gate, meaning you run out of time that you can play, and then people spend dollar after dollar to keep playing. It's usually a bunch of housewives whose husbands won't blow them out anymore, so they get bored and start playing on their phone for hours, just ignoring their kids and whatnot. So other than the fact that these games are now going to be integrated with the Game Pass subscription service, which, by the way, even if you don't own an Xbox console, if you are on the Windows 10 or 11 PC, there are no Xbox exclusives, there are Microsoft exclusives. That is how Microsoft monetizes their games. That is their entire business model when it comes to the video game industry, is to get people into the Game Pass ecosystem. But real quick, I want to touch on a topic that no other gaming news outlet or gaming YouTubers are talking about, and that is the fact that this acquisition has the strong potential, the strong possibility to pull the Call of Duty and World of Warcraft franchises out of their nasty slump that they're in. If we zoom in a little bit here with a little control and mouse wheel action, the studios that work on Call of Duty are Sledgehammer Games, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Raven Software. Raven Software being a support studio, and these three being the actual main companies that produce the Call of Duty titles on an annual release cycle, i.e. they rotate, but they release a Call of Duty game every single year. Because of this, their QC or quality control process has taken a shit, and when you combine that with SBMM or skill-based matchmaking, which is actually ERMM or engagement retention matchmaking, a personal project of Bobby Kotick and the high-level executives to line their pockets with green by getting new players that are, well, shitty at first-person shooters into the Call of Duty franchise, but also to spend money on cosmetics by swiping their mom's credit card for V-Bucks in Fortnite and those COD points in Call of Duty. I know Epic Games owns Fortnite, but I looped it in there because it's the same concept. World of Warcraft over here has been hemorrhaging their average player count to things like Final Fantasy VII. 14, Kevin, you mean Final Fantasy 14. I got you in post-editing, big dog. Amazon's New World, and pretty much any other MMORPG that these players can latch onto. And prior to this acquisition, Activision Blizzard was saying that this game was going to become free-to-play with heavy monetization on the back end, i.e., well, that free-to-play model where they're charging up the ass for skins and cosmetics. But now that Microsoft's existing, I want to say 23 studios, I could be incorrect in that number, flash on screen here, post-editing Gaming Kevin. Hey Kevin, it's Kevin from the future editing the video. Currently, Microsoft has 23 studios. However, this new acquisition will bring them up to a roster of 30. They can now back the Call of Duty franchise and get more bodies, more graphic designers, more coders, more audio designers on the Call of Duty game and clear up a lot of these issues. Not to mention, under the direction of Phil Spencer, I do think they will take the franchise in a better direction. Same thing with World of Warcraft over here. Another quick hot point that I want to just dunk in your guys' face for a minute here. Call of Duty, Warcraft, Candy Crush, Tony Hawk, Diablo, Overwatch, Spyro, Hearthstone, Guitar Hero, Crash Bandicoot, StarCraft, and more. Crash Bandicoot and Spyro were originally PlayStation 1 games under the blue banner of Sony. In fact, those are two of the titles that help build the Sony legacy. Just sit on that for a minute and do a little quick spin and see how it feels on you. That's insane. I'm old enough to remember I actually have a PlayStation 1 back there with the hood popped on her, the disc tray popped up there. I remember playing Crash Bandicoot 1 and, you know, it was only playable on the PS1. And it's just amazing that it's now going to be on Game Pass. This is an amazing, unprecedented time here. By the way, all of these articles that I do have tabbed up here will be cited or sourced down there in the description below, as I do anytime I cover any news in the gaming community or industry. So what is going to go on with the chain of command over there at Activision Blizzard? That is a fantastic question. As of now, what we know is that Bobby Kotick is going to remain the CEO of Activision Blizzard until the deal closes, which most likely will be in the fiscal year of 2023, at which time all Activision Blizzard business will report directly to Phil Spencer, the Chief Executive Officer of Microsoft Gaming, who, by the way, just got promoted, which I think is completely and utterly well-deserved. I do think that Phil Spencer, not to suck his satchel here, but he is the ideal person to run the Xbox division of Microsoft. When you compare him to somebody like Jim Ryan, the leader of PlayStation over there, Phil Spencer is not only a real gamer, he's incredibly articulate and well-spoken in all of his interviews, and he has been with Microsoft for over 2 decades, climbing his way up the ladder by making smart decisions that affect the gaming community positively. Xbox focuses on the satisfaction and value of their gamers, and PlayStation primarily focuses on heavy monetization. I have nothing against PlayStation whatsoever. I've been a long-term Sony fan. I own several of their products, but it's just clear as day how they conduct business. So the Wall Street Journal reports that their sources have indicated that Bobby Kotick will step aside once the deal is complete. I am sure he's going to get a fat severance package, but we really do need Bobby to get the out of the way because he has absolutely degraded the quality of Activision Blizzard, and I've covered news on him in the past. This is the same guy that did mass layoffs around the holidays in order to grease the pockets of him and the executives. He's been catering to new players of the Call of Duty franchise rather than the dedicated, long-term, loyal fans of the franchise that have been playing it for decades. He's been letting World of Warcraft go stagnant, and more importantly than all of that, he's been letting a huge frat boy culture of sexual harassment, assault, and just overall workplace toxicity happen directly under his nose. And he is being federally investigated. It did start out as a state lawsuit from the state of California Fair Business Department. Now it has been escalated to a federal lawsuit, specifically pulling documentations and records of the executives, including the CEO himself, Bobby Kotick. And there is a ton of proof thus far that there were several reports trickling all the way up to him that he was basically shredding, more or less, or just not paying attention to, which is terrible. He has no interest in the actual gaming community whatsoever. And don't get me wrong, I understand the appeal of grabbing heaps of dough as an executive. However, when it is at the expense of the gaming community and the individuals that are actually feeding your cash flow funnel, then it's kind of an issue. So down here, this tweet shows off some of the biggest Microsoft acquisitions. Now, I have this highlighted right here because ZeniMax Media Group previously was the biggest acquisition of a video game studio. It's actually 14 subsidiary studios under ZeniMax, one of which is Bethesda. They do also own Skype, which it was rumored that that's going to be integrated with Xbox consoles. We haven't seen that yet. They do own Minecraft, of course. This massive number up here, a $68.7 billion acquisition of AB. We've already touched on this. Microsoft now owns some of the most iconic characters of PlayStation. This is also a very interesting tweet from the verified account of John Carmack. ID Software very nearly got acquired by AB before winding up with ZeniMax Media Group. Interesting that both roads would have led to Microsoft in the end. That is a great point. Now, this article from The Verge over here does have the actual statement from Phil Spencer to his employees about this acquisition. I'm not going to read from it, but this will be cited down there in the description below. Due to that massive federal lawsuit and walkouts from damn near all their employees, the value of their company was basically plummeting. And you might be thinking, well, that looks like a nice little sideways trend there. Boom. But pulling out to 5 days, I generally don't recommend pulling out, but in this case, we're going to pull back to 5-day chart here. You will see as soon as this news popped, the value of their stock jumped from $64 a share to $86 a share. And you know, when non-gaming news outlets like Washington Post and New York Times get on board with something like this, that it is a major play in the gaming industry, which, by the way, the video game industry earns more annually than movies, TV, music, books, or any other kind of media. The video game industry grosses more. Now, that does include everything from mobile gaming to all the consoles, PC, everything. But just the fact that video games is the biggest earning media platform is pretty insane. Phil Spencer and Bobby Kotick also appeared on Legacy Boomer News.
Working with Bobby to ensure that over the next 18 months during the close, the business continues to perform, that we're set up for that close where we can work directly together on the future of gaming.
It's a collection of communities that are anchored by franchises that will start with gaming. So whether it's a Call of Duty or World of Warcraft or Candy Crush, those franchises that have hundreds of millions of players are going to form the basis for what ultimately we think will be this large, vast virtual world that's usable on any display device with a microprocessor.
And overall, this is just a massive, massive acquisition of a video game studio. The fact that they spent more on this acquisition than Nintendo is worth as a company is absolutely ridiculous. Now, the only thing that will indefinitely affect Nintendo and Sony from this acquisition of Activision Blizzard is the fact that these games are no longer going to be on the platforms of Sony and Nintendo. So if you are a Switch or PS5 owner that doesn't own a PC, you simply are not going to play these games. However, in the long run, this is not going to hurt Nintendo or Sony's bottom line at all. It's going to help Microsoft's Xbox division, but it is not going to hamper PlayStation or Nintendo. Why? Because Nintendo fans don't really give a shit about Activision Blizzard games. Loyal Nintendo fans enjoy the unique design of the Switch, being able to play AAA games on the go, lighthearted, family-friendly exclusives such as Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Pokemon, and Animal Crossing. And Sony's business model is to monetize through accessories, i.e. Pulse 3D headsets, extra DualSense controllers, and of course their first-party in-house SIE, Sony Interactive Entertainment, first-party blockbuster bangers, which they have a slew of. So in the long run, I do not think this acquisition is really going to hamper Team Blue or Team Red at all, but it is going to make Team Green quite a bit more girthy when it comes to their library and also adding value to their subscription service, which is already a good value. I'm not growing a mustache, by the way. This is literally only 4 days of not shaving. Since I am still active duty military, I had to shave all this off this morning. It's unfortunate. Probably gonna lose this here too. It's kind of gross. I will keep you stallions and stallionettes apprised of any developments in this massive news story. If you enjoyed this video, liking it will help it to get seen by more gamers. This information will reach and assist them as well, which in turn helps me grow this channel, which I do greatly appreciate. Subscribe for more content like this. I cover news in the gaming community and industry, as well as tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing, and honest gaming peripheral reviews, keyboards, mice, headsets, controllers, mics, chairs, etc. And I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.